Harrison, Ohio, like any other quaint little town, has its fair share of legends. Not as strong or as popular as Freddy, Jason, or Michael. But from inside this house right here, a legend lurks inside, and soon we'll uncover the secrets behind the supernatural slasher by watching a movie. I don't know. I did the best I could. There's a bunch of people out here making noise now. They're all looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. This ain't even fucking plugged into anything. Okay? So just fucking enjoy the goddamn video.
It's Drewski McGillicuddy's Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon movie review.
Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and today we're going to do a patron request from Kyle Winfrey because I'm actually starting to feel bad for Kyle because he had sent some asshole a copy of the Monster Squad several months ago and he still hasn't fucking reviewed it. So anyway, Kyle had requested me to review the 2006 cult classic Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And I feel like there's probably a lot of people out there that haven't seen this movie, except for like the horror convention culture, because I see people dress as him at, horror conventions and whatnots. And before we even get started with the movie, I've actually been wanting to review this for a while because I distinctively remember this being the very first movie I ever rented from Redbox. Because it was back in 2006. I worked at Biggs in this little town, and we still had a Blockbuster, and I still frequented. I had the MVP pass, but I was just leaving work one day, and I was like, well, let's walk over and see what's on this thing. And I saw this movie that wasn't at Blockbuster, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And I didn't know who the director was or who anybody that was in it was, and I was like, I'll take a chance. So I rented it and I took it home, and 15 minutes into it, my friend Stacy come knocking at my door unannounced, and I was like, hold on a minute, wait a minute, and I rewound it and made her sit there, and we sat there and laughed our asses off at the first half of this movie, because the first half is basically a mockumentary. It's about this guy, Leslie Vernon, or Leslie Mancuso. Mancuso, that sounds awfully familiar. I wonder if that's supposed to be an Easter egg. Anyway, so Leslie Mancuso gets in contact with this, grad student. This Leslie Mancuso gets in contact with these grad students that are like aspiring filmmakers. So they're making a documentary about, and in this world, like the supernatural slashers are all real. Because I love the beginning of the movie. She goes around talking about the legends of Jason, Freddy, and Michael, and then they're going around to all the different neighborhoods, and then there's actually a shot of Kane Hodder going into the 1428 Elm Street house, and just these little touches to this movie are pure genius. And a lot of this movie, honestly, is pure genius. And I'll be straight up with you. It's where I got how I do what I do at the haunted house, because he's not bullshitting when he's talking about it takes a lot of cardio, because it does. I'm running my ass off while it just makes it look like I'm just standing there and letting you walk past me, because as soon as you walk past me, it's like I got to be like a ninja so that I can be standing right back in front of you, and you'd be like, well, now how the hell? But anyway, so yeah, there's a little training montage where he's hitting the punching bag and telling him about his routine, and that's basically what the beginning of the movie is. And he's got like the personality of Ryan Reynolds and Daniel Tosh. I mean, he even kind of looks like Daniel Tosh a little bit, but he just reminds me of like Ryan Reynolds and Daniel Tosh, because he's like charming and a smart ass, but I don't know, I think he just looks more like Daniel Tosh. I don't know why he's fucking saying it, but anyway, so he's basically taking them and showing them how like Freddy or Jason or Michael would set up their kills. They're saying they go and they scope out their victims or their target subjects or something like that. And they go scope out this campus, which these kids have nothing to do with the rest of the movie that they're looking at. He's just giving them an example but then he takes him to the girl that he's actually got his eye on, and he shows him how, like, they do, like the scene in the movie where they go to do something and then something happens and they think they see something, because that's what happens. He's got the brick with the fishing line, and it's just so cool that somebody came up with the idea. Let's go and show how these supernatural slashers actually go about doing their business, because it's even funny. Later on, he takes him to his old buddy's house, who's like one of the original slashers, like one of the original, like before Freddy, Jason, and Michael. As a matter of fact, I was just watching Dr. Woofula, and he said that he's supposed to be Billy from Black Christmas. But he goes over and, he's telling him about, his plan and his work that he's done so far. And that's basically, it's just like a found footage documentary of what kind of preparation goes into. And like when they get over to the guy's house, the wife answers the door and invites him in, and she's like, "Oh, can you go check on him? He's in his deprivation chamber." And they're like, "What's a deprivation chamber?" He's like, "Well, we got to slow our heart rate down, so, because like at the end of the movie, they're supposed to look dead." I don't know what just happened, but they come at you for one last scare, and that's the end of the movie. I wonder if my camera just automatically turns off when I do that. It's not doing it now. Anyway, so they dig him up, and it turns out he's been down there for 3 whole days. Anyway, what was I talking about? So they take him back, and they have a couple beers, and they're sitting around talking about the old days, all right? And how, they went from place to place, and it was about quantity over, like, quality of work, I guess. It was just one job to the next. And then he said, now you got the pros like Michael and Jason and Freddy and Chucky. But then you got the people that are like sloppy, that, come in, they kill a couple people, and they either get killed or they go to jail. And he's fucking cutting this carrot, and it's great, because I even asked when I saw him at Horror Hound, what the hell is this? I even looked it up, but his brain doesn't work, and I don't feel like stopping and looking it up again and trying to be all professional. But anyway, the guy from The Walking Dead, I walked up to him at Horror Hound, I said, "Hey, let me ask you something. Did you really cut that carrot in Leslie Vernon?" He's like, "You're goddamn right I did." He's like, "I'm a chef by trade." And obviously he was bullshitting. But yeah. And then, the secretary said she touched his beard, and it was the softest beard she ever touched, because she got to ride in the elevator with him. So then it's more like setup and stuff. Like he sets up this newspaper article in the library, and they all go watch him. And the library scene's pretty cool because, they give him the thing. He takes the thing, and then they're trying to watch him, but they can't. He's so fast they can't keep the camera on him. And then before they know it, he's standing right back behind them. And I thought that was funny. And like, there's just so many genuine comedic elements about this movie, and just the guy's performance, whatever the hell his name is. I'm not a professional. I don't have to remember people's names, and you just watch me talk about the movie, okay? It does have some cameos in it. Let's talk about these cameos, because it's got the little dwarf lady from the Poltergeist. She plays the librarian, and she also, she's the first kill in the movie, because he's got to scare this girl, let her know that, like, because he sets up the newspaper with this bullshit story about how something about her uncle that don't even really exist. Don't even worry about it. Just, you're eventually gonna watch this if you ain't seen it. It's kill the librarian. But anyway, the whole thing's practically bullshit. All right, it's all culminating back to this house, because he's gonna have this virgin girl, supposed virgin girl, not the fuck it. She's supposedly a virgin. Lead her back to this house with all of her friends, and then he takes us to the house and shows us all the preparation he did by, like, nailing all the windows shut. He took all the weapons and sabotaged them somehow, and he's showing them, and then, like, it starts showing clips of, like, how it's actually going to play out. That's really cool. And then we get to the end when he's actually ready for business. He's putting on his makeup, and she's interviewing him and stuff, and then it turns into an actual horror movie. It stops being a comedy, starts being an actual horror movie. And now, some of the acting by these teenagers is like, it kind of tamps the movie down just a little bit. because it was really good. Like the girl that's doing the interview, like she was in Home Alone or whatever. I can't remember what the hell her name is, but Taylor or whatever her name is, the girl that's doing the interview, and then the two camera guys. They feel real and genuine the entire movie. A lot like our main character Leslie. They're just, it's great. And then you get these teenagers that just seem like they tried out for a different movie or something. I don't know. But it goes from being like the found footage to the horror after the first kill in the house. The what do you call it? Journalist lady doesn't like it, and she decides that oh my god, and Leslie takes her out and says y'all have to leave, and they're like, why? Is it because you get that look on your face that says I can't just stand by and watch you do this. So he tells them all to leave, but they don't leave, and then that's when it like really turns into like, I think that's when they stop doing the found footage stuff, and it goes straight into it's a horror movie now, and it's no longer a comedy, which, like I said, some of the acting from the teenagers just tamps it down a lot for me. But you got Robert Englund, you know, that shows up once or twice. He's kind of underutilized. I don't know. But overall, this movie is hilarious. The third act just isn't as good as the first and the second act, because like there's even a twist in the third act. I just kind of wish it would have stayed the found footage movie. But still, overall, this movie is excellent, and if you have not seen it, I highly, highly recommend it, because I would put a solid 7.5. That's not solid, but yeah, 7.5. It just, the ending, I mean, the ending though is really good. What the hell am I talking about anymore? The ending really good. Once we find out the twist, which I don't want to spoil, it gets better. Because it's like there's the third act and then there's the final act. Okay? Does that make any sense? And then we get one of the best end credit scenes I've ever seen. So you know what? We'll just move it back up to an 8. I feel like an 8. No. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, an 8. Yeah, I can't discount them for having some bad actors in the movie, because overall it was just, I gotta go. I'm doing the best I can, Kyle. Forgive me. But yeah, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Have you seen it? If not, check it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Make sure you click the like button, and then there's like the subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Follow me on the socials. I'll try better next time, I promise.